Hi, my name is Sankash Chabria. I'm a realtor and an animal Reiki practitioner based out of Mumbai. Today, I'm here to talk about something which is immensely close to my heart, that is dealing with animal cruelty and animal abuse. Yes, we have been dealing with animal cruelty and animal abuse for a very long time. But during these COVID crises and during these lockdown times, I have noticed that there has been a colossal spike in the violent transgressions towards these voiceless souls, and it has been infuriating me. There has been hanging of cats, stamping and torturing kittens to death, uh, shooting birds and strays with guns, air guns and real guns, stoning and pelting of dogs, overworking the horses of Mathera to a point of exhaustion, and then the cattle being loaded and transported inhumanly. They've been beaten up during the transport, and so many of other cases. Yes, I've also heard about feeders, the people who are feeding the animals, and the animals that they are feeding, and the birds that they are feeding, facing violent attacks by people. Uh, Also, I read a few articles about the companies still uh, experimenting on animals for their products, and I just think, when will this cruelty regime end? Just thinking about it, and then today, bam! I read about this case today in the papers, that there was this elephant in Kerala, or this pregnant elephant in Kerala, that strayed away from the forest and entered a village. She was searching for food. What do you think is going to happen here? We have encroached so much of wildlife land that they are bound to enter different territories. They are bound to enter human territories, and she was harmless. Yet, few of the local villagers fed her a pineapple which was laced with explosive fireworks. It burst. She got injured. She couldn't eat. She was running around the entire village in pain. Yet she didn't harm anyone, but rather she went into a water body to cool her off, to soothe her pain. But she couldn't eat, and she died out of pain and hunger. Even the local authorities were not being able to help her much. They tried, but they weren't able to help her. So it's quite sad. It's I don't know, man. I'm okay. And to top it, and more than that, now I've heard about uh, people during these times only, we've heard about people abandoning their pets because of the fear that these pets spread and are the cause of coronavirus, which in fact is not true. So the thing is, I spoke to one of my school friends, and who's a renowned vet, Dr. Mugdha Kulkarni Rakshit. I asked her views on it. She texted it to me, and I'll just read it out to you. Give me a second. As far as animals spreading corona, that is a myth. I think almost 70% of my clientele has asked me about this, and my answer has been no. There is a form of gastronomical coronavirus found in dogs, and all my patients are vaccinated with it. So if this particular vet is saying that her patients are vaccinated with it, most pets must have been vaccinated with that, with the vaccine, correct? If not, please check with your vets for this. Also, her text further reads, there has been absolutely no research on pets spreading it to humans, no cases encountered either. I think a detailed study is required for why people have abandoned their pets. It could be the virus, but it could also be it also could be that given the circumstances, people cannot afford their upkeep, general and vet fees, etc. Listen, a pet is a member of the family. It's like your own child. Would you abandon your own child if you can't feed it, if you can't take care of it? आप क्या करते? You would एक रोटी कम खाते, अपने बच्चे को खिलाते. So why do you do this to your pets? And just by the way, it is illegal to abandon your pets. India has a fair repertoire of animal protection laws and some of the finest provisions to safeguard animals in the world. For example, like I said, did you know it's illegal to abandon your pets? It's illegal to incite animal fights and organize animal fights. It is illegal to relocate stray dogs that have been spayed. It is illegal to maim or cause any injury to any animals. So many of the people are unaware about these laws that the compassionate lawmakers have already made to safeguard our animals. I will be mentioning some of the laws that I am aware of in the description below. Do read them. Do you think we need stricter laws and swifter enactment and action against these perpetrators? Do comment and let me know about that. There may be more laws or some, there may be, obviously there may be more laws than that I am not aware of. Please do let me know and kindly bring it up so it could educate me also about it. And okay, besides all of this, besides the laws, I keep on thinking what is going on through a person's mind to commit such heinous crimes towards these voiceless souls, these sentient beings. What's their psyche? What's their frame of mind? What is it that, what is it that makes them do all this? So I consulted and requested Miss Aviva Damania, a mental health expert, regarding her views about the mental health, about the mental health condition of these people harming animals and abusing animals. Here is her take on it.
Hi everyone, I'm Aviva Damania and I'm a mental health specialist. Before I begin, I want to give credit to Sankarsh for coming up with this brilliant idea. I think that everyone is talking about violence against animals, but I don't think anyone's addressing why this is happening. So I think you're going to find this very interesting to have perspective on why this is happening, on why animal cruelty occurs and why so predominantly. So let me start by giving you just a small example. If you're walking in the streets in India and you find a dog following you, which happens very often, and if you just bend down, his immediate response is fear. The dog will run away because he probably thinks you're going to throw stones at it or probably attack it, because that happens so commonly. I don't think this problem is as common abroad. I think it's more of an offense abroad than it is here. I think it needs to be given a lot more importance. I think it has a lot to do with the feeling of power. The core psychology behind animal cruelty is very similar to bullying and to domestic violence. When you exert power onto someone who is weak or you victimize someone else, it in some way validates a person's ego that they are able to exert that kind of pressure onto someone. I think people that engage in animal violence or even domestic violence for that matter or bullying, it all comes from the same source, the want and the need to feel powerful. Animal violence and animal cruelty is seen very often in children growing up. So this probably starts because they are not aware about how wrong this is and they haven't developed empathy enough to know that animals feel things and that what they are doing onto them is painful. So this kind of begins at childhood, and when it's not corrected, then it might snowball into bigger issues. A lot of children that I have engaged with who have an obsessive defiant disorder exert a lot of animal cruelty and violence towards animals and their peers. When this is not controlled, it goes into a phase of antisocial personality where you want to do things to inflict harm on others. It can spill into the adult life where people actually thrive on these sadistic pleasures of hurting other people or other animals. Animal cruelty is seen more often because animals cannot defend themselves. Therefore, they are the powerless victims. A symptom that's common in a lot of mental health conditions is the inability to pick up on social cues. This also spills into not being able to adapt and understand appropriate societal norms, not being able to determine what is morally correct and what is morally incorrect. As I mentioned before, children may engage in animal cruelty because of the lack of empathy, which is a very sophisticated emotion and feeling. It's very difficult to be empathetic, and I think that happens with maturity. Individuals may sometimes engage in animal cruelty as a form of venting to release their frustration and anger, which is completely wrong. The reason why they do this is because animals can't speak up and they can't fight back. I've worked very closely with a lot of children who have engaged in animal cruelty, and a lot of them seemed to have experienced some sort of sexual violence. A lot of them seem to have a history of abuse. They've also seen a lot of abuse in the households. So sometimes it becomes a learned response of the children as well, which again gets spilled into adulthood. So children watch the way parents communicate with each other or the way they are treated by their parents, and this becomes a response which they then project onto animals. If you find yourself having urges to hurt animals, try and circle back to the root cause of why this is happening. Think about the reasons why you might be doing this and reflect on the things that I've said. Think about disruptive patterns that may have caused this, or the way you feel before, during, and after. Once you do resolve whatever it is that's going on, you will then realize the magnitude and the impact of how wrong it is. This may also have a domino effect and affect several areas of your life, relationships and family, which will in turn make you feel guilty and cause a lot of distress for you. Also, a message for parents: be very vigilant with your children. Observe them while they play. Watch if they're rough with animals, watch if they're hurting animals, and put a strict stop to that and make sure that action is not repeated. Getting pleasure from any other living being suffering clearly needs counseling. So please do suggest that to your friends or to anyone you may know and try and make the necessary changes. I hope this sheds some light on the psychological perspective behind animal cruelty. Once again, this was a wonderful idea and I was so happy to share my thoughts about this. So thanks a lot and I hope you enjoyed this video.
Firstly, I want to say thank you, Aviva, for conferring your valuable insights. This should surely help us, aid us to cope with the perpetrators. Please do understand and take cue from these wise words. If you think someone needs help, please contact Ms. Aviva Damania. I'll be mentioning her Insta handle in my description below. This way you would not only be helping an animal or a single being, but you would be probably helping a lot of animals from getting abused or getting harmed. You would be helping against animal cruelty or violence in your own special way. Also, if anyone has any suggestions as to what more can be done to save our animals from such harms, please do let me know. Please do share. Before I go, I would want to say one more thing. I would like to request all of you that, considering that this that we are facing, Mumbai especially is facing the cyclone alert. If there are any animals or birds wanting to take shelter in your buildings, please do not harm them. Please do not shoo them away. We have houses to stay. They are completely helpless on the roads. Please, it's a personal request. Please do take care if you can. And okay, let's be compassionate and show that we are not only human but also humane. Let's be a voice for the voiceless. Thank you.